What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 29th day of September, and here we are sitting at about $112.2 thousand. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. We got about 23 hours left in the day, just under that. We had a very massive move up. I shouldn't say very massive, but we had a nice move up yesterday, Sunday, to close out the week. It is a brand new week. 6 days, 23 hours left in the week here. Very nice wick to the downside there. The week prior to that, we had a wick to the upside. A little bit of volatility over the last couple of weeks. Most of this wick happened because of what took place yesterday, Sunday. And I do believe that there is a chance we could find the low here, but I'm more under the belief that we have lower to go still, right? And there's a few reasons for that. We'll go over that in a second. But looking at this here on a 4-hour time frame, just using the fibs to explain my case, okay? We take this high and we put it at this low right here. And you can see right where we found resistance right there was at the 382. It was right at the 382. We take that same high to the next low, and where we found resistance, this is actually more common. What we did here is that you wick above the 382, you close below it, and then you come down. Much more common, right? And then whenever we take that same high to this low, here we've actually closed above the 382. Which in all fairness is actually kind of bullish. It is very bullish to close above the 382 in this kind of perspective. Being that that's on the 4-hour time frame, that was the last 4-hour candle of the day as well. It's very possible, with that being a daily close right there, it's very possible. I should say it adds to the likelihood that this is the low. But the requirement now is that today must close above this 382. If today were to close below the 382, the possibility that the statistical probability that we go below this low, it goes up tremendously. It goes up tremendously, even more than if we just wicked above here and closed down, because that kind of reversal, it's typically very powerful. I don't know how to validate that to anybody, but just understand that the Fibonacci retracement is a tool that I've been using since I started my technical analysis journey. I've been doing this for over 10 years, or about 10 years at this point. And whenever I tell you that closing above the 382 like this, and then the next day closes below, that is a very bearish setup right there. And absolutely, we'd see the price tank to lower prices than what we have here. Does that automatically mean that we see lower lows? No, we could see some kind of double bottom. We could see a higher low here. It's possible, but I would think that we would go below these lows. And again, we did talk about this over the past couple of days here, that moving back up to about 112.5K was the target area. At the high here, we literally hit 112.3K, so right in the heart of that zone. My last Bitcoin video that I made, we were kind of writing that target off a little bit, but still prepared for it to happen. It's just moving this sideways like this. I was thinking we might just be boring until October 1st, and then we make our decisive move down. But even if we get a bull trap, I did say even if we get a bull trap, it would likely come up here, and we still would likely come down. A lot of people are very bullish right now, calling for the low to be in. They weren't calling for it back here, but now with this move at the high, they're feeling very confident calling for that. I'm actually kind of curious, what's the fear and greed index looking like? If we can get that on here, if we can get that to load up. Let's see. Coin market cap. If you guys hear a little 3-year-old yelling, don't worry, that's just my daughter. And she's not yelling, she's more like just being very loud and happy. Is what it sounds like. Fear and greed index is at a 39, so still in fear, still in levels of fear, even after that pump up. But of course, this metric takes a little bit more to shift sometimes. We look at the liquidation levels in the longs, while still being overpowered by the shorts here. There's definitely more shorts than there are longs. There are a lot of longs that have piled on in the past 24 hours. $10.8 billion of longs over the past 30 days have come into play. We look at the past 24 hours, and the longs have absolutely decimated the shorts. I don't believe that we found our low with this level of longs still here and that level of shorts, personally. Typically, when you find your low, not always, but typically, you continue to short on the way up. And we don't even have $1 billion here on the shorts, which is pretty low for Bitcoin, honestly, at least lately. I'm not impressed. I'm not surprised by this move. And even if we moved up a little bit higher, even if we moved to something that would surprise me, like 113.1K, I still wouldn't be completely impressed. Not until we're above these highs, and not until, I would say, until we have 2 daily closes above this 382. If today can close above this 382, if today, the 29th of September, can close above $112.1 thousand, then we're going to shift our view. I don't care where we close. We could close here. We could close way higher. We'll shift our view and shift it to this being the low. That doesn't mean that we can't come down afterwards, but shift this to being the low for sure. Until then, until we get this day to close above this yellow line, I remain skeptical. Okay, so we'll talk about this again tomorrow. I might make 2 videos on Bitcoin tomorrow. One in the beginning of the day, or the midway point of the day, like I normally do, and then one at the end of the day, like I am doing now. Might do 2 videos tomorrow as well. But looking at this here, let's look at the short-term stuff and see how valid this move is, how real it is or not. Again, the liquidation levels kind of have me, I don't know what word to use, skeptical. Skeptical is the best word. 1 hour time frame here, a lot of volume came in. Lack of volume here as you're moving up higher. It's dying off. You're not really getting anywhere. Makes me think that you want to go lower. Stochastics are bullish and the RSI is bullish. I got nothing negative to say on either of those indicators there. I don't believe that this move is real. It feels like a bull trap to me. But I could be wrong. There could be something going on. Again, the first day of October is this day where the Senate Committee on Finance is going to they're going to have a hearing talking about taxing digital assets, like the taxation of digital assets. If there's something good going on in that hearing, we might see the price pump up into it. If there's something negative going on in that hearing, we might see the price dump down into it. And I'm kind of assuming it might be negatively received. We'll see. Somebody said that nobody cares about this hearing. It's not important. Nobody cares. No one's paying attention to that. And maybe that's true. I just feel like the media in crypto, they hype up anything. They'll hype up a fart in the wind. They literally will. But this United States Senate Committee on Finance hearing, for the first time that they've ever really talked about taxation on digital assets ever. We've been looking for regulatory clarity on this specific thing, and now they're doing it, and the media is not talking about it at all. Like, I'm talking about it. I'm the media. No, I mean like CNBC, Bloomberg, other like major, like really big media outlets, right? That they're not talking about it, but they'll talk about a fart in the wind. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I think there's something going on that they don't want people to be aware of necessarily whenever it comes to taxation. Maybe I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but the less informed people are, the less informed decisions they can make, the more money the big dogs can make. But I would assume that we do kind of dump into this event is all I'm trying to say. The first day of October, whether you get on board or you're not on board with everything that I just said, I do expect that around this date here is where we're looking to maybe be done with this downward movement. I would think that we move down going into that date, perhaps find our low on the day of the first or even afterwards, and then from there we should start to recover and move up higher. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. Looking at the 1 hour time frame again, everything looks bullish. I don't have really anything negative to say. We're at prices where we found support before. Might we find turbulence here? It kind of looks like we are because we're slowly moving up, getting some decent volume. The volume is dying off, but we're just not going anywhere. So it makes me think that we are slowly turning around. Looking at the 4 hour time frame here, stochastics are bullish. The RSI is bullish. The MACD is bearish overall, but you're showing some bullish stuff. One would think with this amount of bullishness being built here, you might find some turbulence at the 0 and reject down. We'll see. And then again, of course, the idea here that from a high to a low, you've gotten above your 382, you would likely come back down. Even if you are to move higher, what you'd want to look for here, if you are to move higher, you might move to your golden ratio, find some turbulence there, you might move higher, whatever, but you would probably come back and find support at your 236 and then move up. So even if you think this is the low, do at least expect to move down to 110.7K. If we can hold that level and then we're back up here, I would say the odds that the low is in, they've gone up tremendously, okay? Especially if that happens all by the end of the day. Like imagine today we open up like this, we come down to the 236 and then we close the day coming up here, closing the day above the 382 while back testing the 236 for support. I would have no choice but to be bullish, but to call that the low at that point, okay, if we see something like that. But I'm just not there yet. I haven't seen enough. So far, this is exactly what we called whenever we were down here, talking about a move up like this and then lower, all right? So I'm not impressed yet. I think we have one more move down to go. And we're not going to get that implication on these indicators here. Other than maybe, from a high to a high here, you have a higher high. High to a high here, you have a higher high. Histogram here, oscillators here, higher highs both times. And you have lower highs in the price. So there is hidden bearish divergence going on in all fairness. We could come down, form some more bullish divergence. All that stuff would happen. So yeah, I'm skeptical at this point in time. Inevitably, I do believe that Bitcoin will continue to grow to higher prices. I just don't think that it's from here. I think that the areas that we'd look to find support at, if we're looking at this 30-day liquidation map, would be anywhere from where these levels of long volume tend to dwindle, which is just below 106K, maybe even all the way down right above 103K, 106 to 103K. We take this low here to this high, 104.8K. That's the golden ratio. That's literally right in the middle of that zone that we just said, 106 to 103K. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. It might be exactly what we do, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I will say, on the note of perfect, this right here, finding support at the 1414, and then coming up and finding support at a higher fib right now, that looks nice. I will say that looks nice. You just got to move up a little bit higher. We close the day here or above 113.3K. I'd be very convinced that the low is in, but until then, I remain skeptical, calling for lower prices. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. All in all, you guys know that I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. We all know that this is not the end of the bull market, that we do have more to grow. From last cycle's high to the bear market low. Come on, that wasn't the low. I'm trying to be specific here. There we go. That's the low. Right there. Right? No. This is the low. Right there. We all know that the next target area, by the way of these fibs, very significant Fibonacci retracement here, right? Found support right at the 236, then the 382. Found support right here at the golden ratio. Found support right there at the 786. Held support at the 886 all this time. Direct resistance at the 1272. Then some support there. A little bit of resistance just below the 1414. The next target area undoubtedly is this level here, the golden ratio, $174,000. Bitcoin with its golden ratio. Fun fact, not just the golden ratio, the 0.618, but the 1.618. Bitcoin likes to wick through it a little bit. When I say a little bit, like that's too much there. It might be too much, but a little bit. So 174K, more likely 180K is our next target. And I would expect that we're not there by the end of the year. I don't think we're going to move that slowly. I would think we're there by the end of this month of October. I really do believe October is going to be a very bullish month. I just theorize at the beginning of October, maybe the first week will be bearish, and we should be starting that bearish move this week. Either this week or next week, we'll find the low for Bitcoin and the rest of crypto, and then we're going to be singing Kumbaya and Uptober songs throughout the rest of the month. But I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Don't get overzealous. Don't get excited with this little move, right? There were a lot of people who on this last movement here, and it wasn't as big, granted it wasn't as big, but this last movement here on this Wednesday, the 24th, people were pretty damn excited at 113 and 114K, and we still went lower. Don't get too excited here, right? It's very possible we're at prior areas of resistance, prior areas of support back here, prior areas of resistance back here. We're at our relative 382 from the high to low. There's a lot of reasons to find resistance here. Don't get overzealous just yet. All it takes is one more day. It takes this 22 hours and 39 minutes to close right here or higher, and then I'm wrong, and then I will consider myself wrong. That's how powerful this 382 is. But until then, I'm keeping my stance. Again, this is all based on the lessons I've learned over the past 10 years using these tools and these metrics in technical analysis. It's a very specific, very technical game, but that's why they call it technical analysis. Anyways, hit the like button. Take care. Thank you all. Bye-bye.